Hey everyone, this is Veronica Wasik with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. In this video, I am talking to e-commerce sellers and talking about the 5 things that every e-commerce seller should know about doing your own bookkeeping. The 5 things that every e-commerce seller should know about doing your own bookkeeping or DIYing your bookkeeping. Let's go ahead and take a look. So why even bother with doing your accounting and bookkeeping? For most business owners and especially e-commerce sellers, we're really worried about the taxes, right? Tax time. But what that does is, first of all, it makes you procrastinate. It makes you just to be reacting to tax deadlines instead of being proactive about really managing your business and getting a clear view into your profitability. Peter Drucker says that you cannot manage what you can't measure. And it's true. If you don't know how your business is doing, then you can't make critical decisions for your business. So the first thing you should know about a DIY in your bookkeeping is the reason why you should be doing it. It should be so that you can get a clear view into your profits and be able to manage your business with the financial insights that you'll gain from maintaining your finances. Number 2, you need to understand that maintaining your books isn't doing data entry, isn't just importing your banking transactions into your QuickBooks. There's a whole lot more that goes into it. There is an aspect of that. We do have to capture transactions into QuickBooks, but it also requires time. It requires dedication. And so if you're going to do your books, you need to be able to set time aside to work on the books and to do it on a regular basis. Otherwise, you'll just put it off, and once again, you'll be back to getting things done only for tax time. Number 3, most e-commerce sellers who are trying to DIY their books just jump right into working on their QuickBooks without first really crafting a plan and having a strategy for setting up a financial management system that's customized to their business. So what do I mean by a financial management system and crafting a plan? Well, it's all about really setting a strategy, so really planning what it is that you're going to be doing. Are you selling through multiple channels? How are you going to manage inventory? How are you going to report on your taxes? Next is structure. It's setting up your QuickBooks Online in a way that matches your operations and how you're doing business. Number 3 is software, identifying other software that will integrate with QuickBooks, be able to streamline those processes and automate manual processes. 4 is systems, the who, the what, and the when. Who will be doing the financial tasks? When will they be done? What will be done? And number 5, safeguards and protecting your money, especially if you're going to delegate some financial tasks to people in your company or organization. Number 3, understand that there are key financial tasks that you should be performing each month. And for an e-commerce seller, there are 6 main tasks. 1 is recording transactions, so actually capturing the transactions into QuickBooks. 2nd is reconciling. That is a very important part of ensuring that all the transactions that are in QuickBooks are actually valid transactions, that you have no missing transactions or duplicated transactions. Number 3 is reviewing. Once the transactions have been recorded in QuickBooks and reconciled, you want to go through a process where you're reviewing some of the key reports to ensure that everything looks in line. Maybe there might be some expenses that are recorded into the wrong account. You may have things that are miscategorized. So we want to take time to review the books and make sure that the numbers make sense. Number 4 is revise. So after we do that review and perhaps see that maybe an amount is miscategorized, we want to revise or make corrections to the books to ensure that they're accurate. Number 5 is restrict, and that is the process used to basically close the books so that you don't accidentally make changes to transactions that you have already recorded and reconciled. And finally, remit, and that is your sales tax. And for e-commerce sellers, sales tax is a really big deal. So you want to make sure that you are remitting your sales tax liabilities. Number 4, understand that e-commerce sellers face some very specific challenges in doing their own books. The reason is because on the sales side, we have a lot of transactions going on. There's income, returns and refunds, fees, reserves, loans, debit cards, sales taxes. There's a lot going on the sales side, and those components of sales need to be broken out. And on the other hand, what we see being deposited in the bank account are different amounts, and they need to be reconciled. So there has to be a reconciliation done between the amounts sold and the components of those amounts versus the amounts deposited in the bank account and the components of those deposits, because you'll see separate deposits by payment processor. We might see Amazon payments, Shopify payments, Stripe, PayPal, Square. There might be fees that are being deducted from all of these amounts. So there is another layer of complexity that e-commerce sellers need to understand in terms of doing their own books. It's not as easy as you would think. And number 5, understand that as an e-commerce seller, you also need to track inventory and cost of goods sold. And that can get fairly complicated, especially if you're a multi-channel seller and if you're trying to track inventory in QuickBooks. I wouldn't recommend actually tracking inventory in QuickBooks at a detailed level. And at that point, then you have to start looking at some apps to track inventory separate from QuickBooks. And number 5, tracking inventory and cost of goods sold. That's another layer of complexity that e-commerce sellers have to deal with. And it's something that starts to get fairly complicated and actually then starts to go into more accounting rather than DIY bookkeeping. So a lot of things to keep in mind, especially if you're a multi-channel seller, and really considering how you will track inventory in QuickBooks, or even if you need to use a cloud inventory app. So there's a lot to think about there for inventory and cost of goods. I've shared with you the 5 things that every e-commerce seller needs to know about DIYing or doing their own books. I specialize in working with e-commerce sellers, so check out the description box below for a way to get a hold of me if you need any assistance. Also check the description box below for my free resources and the link to join my Facebook community. If this content is helping you, make sure that you comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can get all of my latest videos.